5 mistakes that I made as a beginner aquascaper. Let's go. So I've been aquascaping since 2015, and since that time I've made my fair share of mistakes. So in this video we're going to talk about 5 things that I probably should have done but didn't do. Maybe you're a beginner aquascaper and this way you can avoid these mistakes. The first mistake that I made was not using CO2. So when I first started I had no idea how important CO2 was to aquatic plants. I thought if they just have a little bit of light, a little bit of fertilizer, they will do just fine. In a way that's true. Like if you're not using CO2, plants they might grow a little bit, they might survive. But I was scrolling through social media and Instagram and I saw all these beautiful scapes. Super colorful plants, super dense growth. And that kind of growth is just, it's really hard to achieve without CO2. So it was time for me to make a change. And once I did start using CO2, my scapes improved a lot. Plants were looking a lot healthier. So if you are the same and you're not using CO2, I just made a video about DIY CO2 and how you can make a super cheap, super easy DIY CO2 system at home. I'll leave a link to the video up there. These systems are super cost efficient and they'll be a great addition to your planted tank. Okay, mistake number 2, not starting with enough plants. So in the past when I would make a scape, I would have a look at what plants I want to use. And I would buy 1 pot from each single plant. And the reason why this is a mistake is in the beginning when you have a new scape, your scape is very prone to having algae because your plants haven't adapted yet. You probably have a lot of nutrients coming from your soil and your water hasn't really stabilized yet. So in the beginning, I'm going to use a lot of plants so algae doesn't really have a chance to appear. Mistake number 3, not using aqua soil. So in my first few scapes, I used a black decorative sand or gravel. This looked good and it looked sort of like what I saw on social media, but it didn't do anything for my plants. I would add some bottom fertilizer, root taps or something like that. But ever since I started using aqua soil, plant growth has just been insane and it's a product that I really recommend. I made a video of aqua soil and why I like it so much. I'll leave a link up there. Mistake number 4, not having an algae cleanup crew. So in my first few years of aquascaping, I didn't have an algae cleanup crew and I spent a lot of time scrubbing algae and stuff like that. I don't mind doing maintenance on my aquariums, but scrubbing algae and cutting leaves that are affected with algae, that's probably the least favorite thing about maintenance. In the first few years, I spent way too much time doing this. Having some amano shrimp, otocinclus and nearite snails just makes life a lot easier, and this way you can spend a lot more time enjoying your aquariums. Mistake number 5, not using enough fast-growing plants in your aquascape. So in your aquarium there's basically a constant battle going on between plants and algae. And me personally, I'm a big fan of cryptic green, anubias, bushflandra. All these plants, they're very slow growing. So if your aquascape consists of mainly these plants, your plants will lose the battle against the algae. So plants like rotala, hygrophila, limnophila, these are all super fast growing plants. They're like the worst enemy for algae. These grow a lot faster, they take up a lot of extra nutrients, so algae doesn't really get a chance. So definitely recommend adding some fast growers into your aquascapes. Alright, 5 mistakes that I made as a beginner aquascaper. Guys, I'm curious, did you make any mistakes and how did you solve them? Let me know in the comments. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one and take care.